Okay, I'm going to start again. Here, what is peer-to-peer? What is peer-to-peer? It's very simple. I'm trying to say now. You have a PCs, individual PCs. Think like it's a desktop PCs only. Okay. So if they are communicating each other, but they are controlling on their self only. Okay. So whatever it is. Okay. There are individual PCs. For example, this is a C1. Okay. C2, C3, C4. So there are four PCs are there. They are connected in the network. So they can share the data. So they can share the data. They can communicate each other. But there are act individually. For example, this is having a username is user one, user two, user three, user four. Okay, their data is stored here only. They will get authenticated here only. Okay, they have their passwords. The password will get authenticated here only. So understand. So user two in a C2, user two password is stores here only. User information stores here only and authenticated here only. Okay, user three account information is here only and password is here only, right? So for example, user one want to log into this PC, he cannot log in. He cannot log in. Okay, only user two will get authenticated. Or maybe in this one, for example, I have multiple accounts. They're all accounts and their password stores in a your this PC only, not in another PCs. First of all, second one, there is no centralized control. And for example, I have a data here. I have a data. I have some shared data is there. We can access the share in data from here. Maybe I connected to a printer. We can access the printer through network if it is shared, right? We can access the printer through network if it is a share. Okay, but there is no permanent server or permanent client here. Everything depends upon the situation. Act like a server means which is server means which provide a service or provide a information. So client means access the service or access the information. Okay, so the things can be different, but what is the server means it provide a service and or provide information or provide a data. The client will access the data or access the information or access the service. So that is a server and client. But here it is, it depends upon the situation, it will act like that. So that is peer to peer. Peer to peer means individual PCs um, connected in the network and communicate in the network, but no one is a permanent server here. So that is a peer to peer network. Okay, next one is server and client model. Next one is server and client model. What is the server and client model? Server provide a service. Again, server provide a service, client access the service. Server provide a service, client access the services. Okay, through network. So what kind of services it can be provided? Like web services, DHCP services, DNS services, database services, deployment services. Okay, deployment services, update related services. So client, sorry, server provide a service and client access the service. Mail services. These are all comes under service related only. So I didn't write deployment service. Deployment service. Okay. Example WDS from Microsoft. Okay. Deployment services, database services, mail services, like that. Okay. To become a server, so the easiest way to install a server operating system like a Windows servers. Windows servers like Windows NT server, 2003 server, sorry, 2000 server, 2003 server, 2008 and 2008 R2 server, okay, 2012 and 2012 R2 server, 2016 server, 2019 is the latest one. So these are the Windows servers. So if you install a Windows server here, automatically it is become a server. But only it is become a server by installing service. Only server become a server based on a service what it is providing a service. For example, DHCP server, maybe a DNS server, or maybe a web server, or maybe a file server, a print server, like this. Next, Linux and Unix servers. Okay, in this one also, whatever the enterprise Linux we are using, if you install a particular services, then only it is become a server. So if you are using a 2003 server and you didn't install any services, it is nothing. It is nothing. It is a standalone server. That's it's nothing. Okay, but if you install a service in the 2003 server, then only it is become a server, actual server. The particular server it is like web server, file server, DNS server, DHCP server, authentication server, like Active Directory server, like this. So understand server and client. Okay, client access the services, and servers also become based on hosted application. So here it is application server is there, but I am telling a hosted application server. Hosted applications. What are the hosted application like Exchange? Exchange is a mail server. Exchange is a mail server. Uh, Oracle DB, for example, if you install a Oracle DB, so Oracle database server, SQL server, it's an application. So based on the application also, it has become a server. And already I given some examples like a Domino servers. So it's not required as Domino server for a Domino server for a SQL server or Oracle DB. You don't require a server operating system. You just need a system and install that application, automatically it become a server. Some are dependent, means like Exchange server compulsory required a server operating system only, not on a Windows 10 or Windows 8 we can't install it. Okay, these are a hosted application, means based on a you install application, then automatically the system become a server, like a Domino server you install, it is become a Domino server. Okay, so whether it is Windows 7 or Windows 8 or Windows 10 or a server operating system, so whatever it is, it's become a hosted based on application, it is become server. If you install a Oracle server, okay, like that. Okay, that is the server and client model. Server provide a service, client access the services. Server is always a server. Okay, it can be a client for in a certain instant, but it is providing a particular server. Web server is not a web client. Okay, web server is always provide a particular website to the people. Okay, next. Okay, these are the different type of servers are available. I given some examples, but lot of servers are available in the market. Okay, so in a 2000, so in Microsoft Windows, when we call this is a I taken points from 2012, but I'm commonly telling this one. So different services we are getting: infrastructure services, shared file and printer services, hosted applications, network access, application update and operating system deployment. Okay, so the hyphen means, what is that meaning? Infrastructure services means like providing DHCP and DNS servers, providing DHCP and DNS servers. Okay, shared files and printer services, so providing print servers, file server comes under this point. Okay, so like I have a data in my server, so everybody can access from the server. Okay, that's like a file server. I connected a printer, I have a network printers are there in my network, I have a network printers in my network. I will manage these network printers and I will authorize the users centrally, whether who can able to take the print, who cannot able to take the print. So I can control the my printers. Okay, I can control the printers. Host applications. So applications like a Exchange server application, my SQL server application, dynamic CRM related applications, system center related tools like a system center configuration manager, virtual machine manager, okay, data protection management. These are all central applications we can install in our server operating system, Windows Server operating system. So then we provide that related services. For example, Exchange server provide a mail services, SQL server provide a mm, SQL server provide a database services. Dynamics means usually dynamic CRM is there. So Dynamics, if you dynamic CRM, customer relationship management related server. So you can put a customer related database in that, and as per the required inquiry of the customer, then we can check the database from there. Okay, and customer system center is usually managing for a data centers for a virtual machine management or data protection management, service management, deployment, remote deployment, updating services. Also, we can do with the system center. Network services provide authentication and authorizations to the clients on the network. It means it's a central server, right? So it provide authentication and authorization for the clients, to those who are logging through network. So I will explain when these points in a work group and domain part. Okay. Next one is, so what are the services? Active Directory, LDAP kind of services for authentication services. Application update and operating system deployment. So through server we can able to deploy operating system, and we can deploy updates to the client, and also we can deploy application to the clients. So this is a parts of your main servers. Okay. So when it is a come to the server, then we get a two words in the server. Actually, we have to put those two words here. This is a why I put a stop. Okay, because okay, because these 4 points are a common questions in any kind of interview. So you have to compulsory search and find out the proper definitions for that one. Okay, and work group and domain is a very important points in here. And I missed one point in a server, as you have, I told in the morning. So to become a server, so there is a hardware servers also there. Of course. Okay, so I'm not going. I will go to this point, hardware part. Okay, but device part, I will go. So which is I morning I told, like a routers. Routers also providing a particular service like DHCP kind of services. Okay, or IP access services. Like what is DHCP means? IP access services, internet connecting, authentication to access. So certain features are there inside of routers. Depends upon different company and the routers and their manufacturing and operating system inside a routing part. Okay. Normally, just for example, I'm telling this. That's why I'm writing here. I'm not writing there. It is just for example understanding. Your Wi-Fi router also providing DHCP service. We don't have a server operating system separately here. Just the device is providing us. So that's the thing. Okay. Next. Of course, we got a hardware servers. First, we'll go to the hardware part. So hardware servers are not even a server. So if you install a server operating system into a PC, it become automatically a server. And if you install a service in that one, automatically it become a butler server. But a normal PC cannot be a server, because server means it connected to multiple clients. Server means it connected to multiple clients. It should handle the multiple client request. Okay, so when you go to this one, so you have a multiple clients, all clients are sending a request to the server cannot handle the normal hardwares. Normally what we are using, a laptop or a normal desktops, cannot handle. So it need a specific type of hardware for that one. It means, so specific type of hardware means like generally like we are using a Intel i5, i3, i7 process, but for server Xeon Xeon process it will use it know how to handle the multi processors, like one motherboard having a multiple processor. Okay, and it has a high cache compared to normal servers also. Okay, Xeon processors, okay, like CPU. Okay, RAM, high RAM capacities are there. Normally we are having a 8 GB RAM, 16 GB RAM, 32 GB RAM. Still lot of people don't have more than 8 GB RAM. People are buying a 4 GB RAMs only, right? So in market up to 16 and 32 GB RAMs are there. 64 GB RAM is not there, but RAMs are capacity is more than 64 GB RAM, 128 GB RAM. RAM, I'm not saying SSD or other thing, pen drives. I'm not saying it is RAM. Capacity is a 64 GB RAM, 128 GB RAM. Okay, like that, up to 4 TB. Usually, up to 4 TB of RAM we can able to use for a single server. So, this is a possibility is there. Okay, multi processing processors also possible. Like the motherboard can fit with a multiple processor. Like I will show you in Google. Okay, now we have a dual core and core geos, but you will get a multi CPU motherboard. So I'm going to images. Think like this is why it is showing. Oh, it is link. Okay, anyway, it is somewhere. See, this is a single motherboard. Can you see there is a four processors are there? So cost is around 25,000 only. Maybe it is a very old one. Okay, so we have to search which type of it is. So can you see these are a RAM slots? Okay, multiple RAM slots are available. Multiple disk connectivity is there. Okay, storage capacities. Okay, so some are having a. This is having a four, and this is having a only two. See, two sockets are there. Two CPU sockets are there. Okay, two CPU sockets are there like this. Some are having a 4, some are having a 2, okay, or some are having a 8. So a motherboard may have a multiple CPU sockets also there, right? So it's a multi CPU motherboards they will use it, okay, and multiple NICs. Okay, we have a one NIC. Now we have a laptops. Now we have a NIC and Wi-Fi. But the servers having a direct NIC, 1 gigabits NIC and all available in the motherboard. So the hardware capacity. My point is hardware capacity of a server is higher than a normal desktop. That's why, because it should handle the high traffic from the users, and it should do a lot of processing related thing. So the hardware capacity should be high. Okay, so based on these hardware capacities, so they build depends upon the requirements. So different type of hardware servers are there. It is a server hardware. Actually, it's not a hardware server. It is a server hardware. So we have to change this part to um, like this. It's a server hardware, not hardware server. Okay. So just like a CPU is a high capacity like a Xeon. If you go to Xeon, it will have minimum 10 core processor is there. Okay, 12 MB cache memory, minimum 12 MB cache memory is there. Okay, RAM is also high RAM capacity we are using. Of course, depends upon DDR3, DDR4, whatever we use it. So, like just for example, I'm typing 64 GB RAM. Okay, and also I'm typing. I'm told Xeon. It's an example only because lot of server related CPUs are there. Xeon processor we don't use for normal port. If you want, I will type Xeon also here. Intel Xeon thing. Okay, it is you can go to the details of Xeon processor. Okay, So it is showing different family things are there, platinum and all. Okay, so no, I'm not getting any particular uh, E family. So usually we use E family. Okay, you can see it's a 12 MB cache, 6 core processor, 6 threads. It's a low end processor. Like you can get it 4 core but 8 MB. Okay, 6 core, 10 cores also available. We have to check it. It's a 8 core processor, 16 MB cache memory, 16 threads means 8 into 2, 16 threads. So 16 processor capacity it is there. So depends upon your processor and cost is will be there. So it's a compared to normal i3, i7 and i9 processors also came up. But compared to that one, Xeon is a powerful. Minimum 64 GB starting, like normally 16 GB, 4 GB is a common starting RAM capacity, but so it will support up to 4 TB of RAM also. Possibility is there. Okay. Multi CPU sockets motherboard is there. Motherboard. Just for try to understand this one. Okay. SCSI connectors, ride controllers. There are a lot of things are in a hardware part. Okay. So um, in a models of server hardware, so like you make it as a one unit. So think like you are putting in one unit. Okay. So like in one unit, think like one unit. It is a tower server. What is a tower server? Like you know the CPU, normal desktop computers. Okay, we have a desktop computers, right? That is a mid towers. Okay, whatever we have a tower servers, we have a desktop in our system. That is a towers. These are the towers. That is a mid towers. There are use high towers. It means more space for a big motherboards and other connectivity. Next is a rack server. What is a rack server? Okay, so like this is a racks. So it is a one single rack. Like you can see this thing. Okay, in this one rack server. So is inserting a rack. So normally the book rack kind of stuff. Okay, each single rack is one server. We can fit a server into a rack. Okay, so this is a server means it contains all server hardware related thing, and we can insert and screw it. Normal tower will occupy normal tower servers occupy more space, and cooling system and power connections are a little bit difficult in that tower server. If you have a 2 3 tower servers, it is okay, but if you have a multiple towers, better to replace the multiple towers with a rack servers. Okay, another one is a blade server. So when you have a free time, just search for each and every server. Okay, so what is a blade server? It is also a rack type server only, but it contains like a blade. Means one rack contains multiple servers. So we see one unit, one server means one unit only, single server, single unit server, right? Single part. Rack server means each rack a server. It means in a total box you have a four racks are there. It means we can put a four servers. Think like that. Okay, you have a four racks. For example, I have a rack thing in my whole room. Okay, like I have a one, two, three, four, five, six racks are there. So in that one, I can put a six servers. Think like six racks, six servers, four racks, four servers. We can able to put it. Come to the blade server. In a blade server, one single rack we can put a multiple servers. That is called a blade server. So these are the blades. Each blade having a complete server hardware. CPU is there, RAM is there, processor is, SSD connections are there, everything is there. So you can see this guy is putting a blade into the server. Okay, It means one single rack. Like this is a one single rack having a multiple blades. See, this guy is putting. This is a one rack. Yeah, you can see closely. Maybe like this. This is a one single rack. Is putting a blade inside. So that is a blade server. This is by hardware only. By function, it is nothing. By function, if you are having a blade server, rack server, tower server, but you didn't install anything inside, it is nothing. Just it is a hardware only. Just you are paying for money. Okay. But what it is, we have to install a server operating system or maybe an operating system and server application inside. Okay. If you install a server operating system in the server, then we can install the service and we can access the server service, then only it is become a server. The name itself, it is a server, but it is not actually, it is not server until unless if you install a server operating system in it. So that is the my point. But these are existing technologies, so we should understand what it is. That's it. Okay. So this is about your server related. One more is not one more, this is a theory. Next one is work group. Work group and domain we have to do. What is this work group? As we speak in a peer-to-peer network. So guys, I'm removing this one, so I don't need this one now. As we speak about peer-to-peer network. Okay. As we speak in a peer-to-peer network, so each individual PCs will get authenticated by their account only, and they are controlling themselves. So last part when I before break, I said one thing, right? So just I'm I am doing this one so for just for understanding only. So try this one. I have a PC. For example, the PC is my PC is Win C1 is there, right? And I have an account is a student one, right? My account is student one. Understand? First individual PC. This is my password. Where the student account information is stored in the Win C1 only. Where the password is storing in Win C1 only. Okay, got it? So I have a PC. Uh, One second, guys. What you will do? So take. Okay.